Hi, welcome to video 2 of Module 1. My name's Leanne Abela, I'm Director and Partner of Pearsons, and if this is the first video you've seen in the series, I strongly recommend you go back to the beginning and have a look at everything else we have to offer in this series, and you can do that by going to the Pearsons YouTube channel or to the Pearsons webpage. One of the first things that you can attend to, which will cost you nothing and will be very effective, is to change your email password. Most relationships result in parties knowing one another's password, and so the first thing that can go wrong is that you're almost eavesdropping on each other's conversations. When you're separating or thinking of separating, it's important that you retain your privacy. So by changing your password, you'll ensure that your partner does not have the ability to download some of those email communications with other people or friends or even your lawyer and use that to your disadvantage. The last thing you want is to be worried about communication that you may have undertaken without knowing that somebody was going to use it against you. And this could happen immediately or later on in the process at a time when you've completely forgotten that you even sent the email. So this is something that is free, will cost you nothing, and that which you can do to protect yourself and give yourself some peace of mind. The next thing that you could attend to, which is also very important, will involve a visit to the bank or some online work, and that is freezing your mortgage balances, freezing drawdown facilities, and freezing some credit cards. So most people these days operate with a mortgage balance or a mortgage limit and then have a drawdown facility. And in most of the cases we've seen, one of the knee-jerk reactions to a separation is for one of the parties, either because they're worried about how they're going to cope financially, or as a sort of a way of punishing their partner, if you like, is to draw down against the mortgage and take a load of money out. Now, they may take that money out because they need to set up furniture in another property, or because they're worried that their partner's going to do the same thing and draw down against the mortgage. So one thing that you could effectively do is to contact the bank, explain that you've separated, and what you don't want is what can be seen as almost theft, but isn't really, in terms of drawing down against the mortgage or overdraft, and thus really reducing what there will be to fight about in the basket at the end of the day. If you find that you're unable to do this without the assistance of a solicitor, then by all means go and see a family lawyer straight away, and hopefully there won't be any need to go to court. It could be dealt with by way of a letter or some communication, but ultimately, if a court order is necessary, this can be done, and it can be done very quickly and efficiently. The third thing which needs to be attended to often occurs when one of the parties has the assets in their names. So in family law, we don't really take any weight in relation to whose name the properties are in. But if the property is in your partner's name and not in your name, it's important that you protect your interest. You can't effectively have a fight over an asset that no longer exists. And it will no longer exist if your partner transfers it, sells it, or gives it away. So how do you ensure that that doesn't occur? By lodging a caveat against the property. Now you can do this yourself by visiting the titles office in Melbourne and lodging a caveat against the property. And there's a government fee involved, a fee, a duty, and that will be approximately $100, or you can pay a lawyer to do it. And that will be a total cost of around $300 to $350. And that will ensure that your partner can't borrow against the property, transfer it, give it away, or take other securities against it. Changing the locks. A lot of people come and approach us about changing the locks because their partner has already left or they want their partner to leave. Changing the locks is not really an effective way of stopping somebody coming back into the property. But if your partner's already left, you may want to change the locks just to ensure that you have privacy and that you're not worried about them returning when you have taken occupation of the property. It doesn't give you a greater entitlement to the asset, doesn't mean your partner can't come back, but it does give you some security. And so we do recommend generally, if you've had occupation of the property, that you change the locks. Dealing with a will. Now we know that this is a difficult time, the time of separation. It's scary, it's confusing, there's lots going on in relation to the children and property, but unfortunately, people do die during the course of a separation and prior to the assets being divided. And in the work we've done over the last 26 years, there have been many instances where people have passed away unexpectedly and tragically, leaving their family most upset because there was no will in place. And what it would mean if you didn't have a will is that your clothing, jewellery, finances, assets would all go to your estranged partner. which would leave a bit of a mess for your family and in particular your children. So we recommend that at the time of separation, you make a new will and that you also change the beneficiaries of your superannuation fund. At the moment, your beneficiary of your superannuation fund is likely to be your partner, and it's important that that's changed to either be your children or whoever you want to leave your superannuation entitlement to. And a solicitor will help you work through your will and deal with that superannuation issue if you want them to, or you can simply contact your own superannuation fund. In some instances, at the time of separation or leading up to separation, a party might be fearful of separating because of the reprisals which may occur. If you are in fear of your own safety or that there may be damage to the property if you separate, we would recommend that you contact your local magistrates court and ask for an appointment to apply for an intervention order. Intervention orders are a subject of their own, and so if you're interested in that particular topic, I suggest you go to a later video in these modules which will cover that topic completely. So if you feel that you're ready and you're able to move on to the next video, I recommend you do, and the next video will deal with essential documents you need to gather so that you're well equipped during this entire process, or if you're still thinking about separating, so that you have everything you need when that time comes.
All our videos in this YouTube series can be found through the Pearsons YouTube channel or by visiting the Pearsons website and following the links. Alternatively, if you know that it's simply time to see a family lawyer, please contact us for a free initial consultation. Please be advised that we must complete a conflict check so that we can only represent one party in a family law matter. So if your partner is watching this same YouTube series and engages our services before you do, we advise that we may not be able to talk to you. Whatever it is that you choose, it's our wish that throughout this YouTube series, you can finally gain a sense of certainty so that you know where you stand.